The trading post on Kepler 442b was the kind of place where questions weren't asked and credits spoke louder than words. Jason had been running cargo between the outer colonies for 3 years now, and he'd learned to keep his head down and his mouth shut. But when she walked into the cantina, every rule he'd ever followed evaporated like moisture on a sun-scorched moon. She was tall, easily 7 feet, with skin that shimmered like polished obsidian under the dim lights. Her form was distinctly feminine, impossibly curved in ways that defied human biology but somehow perfected it. The bioluminescent patterns running down her spine and arms pulsed with a soft violet glow. Jason tried not to stare, but his eyes betrayed him, drawn to the hypnotic sway of her movements as she navigated through the crowded room. "Close your mouth, human," his co-pilot Emma muttered, elbowing him sharply in the ribs. "You're drooling." Emma had been with him since the beginning, a scrappy engineer from Mars Colony who could fix a fusion drive with spare parts and sheer willpower. She was pretty in that girl-next-door way, with auburn hair always tied back in a practical ponytail and grease perpetually under her fingernails. But right now, even she couldn't help sneaking glances at the alien woman. The woman approached their table with purposeful strides. Up close, Jason could see the intricate patterns etched into her skin weren't just decorative. They were moving, shifting like living circuitry. Her eyes were large, golden, and held an intelligence that made him feel simultaneously exposed and insignificant. "You are the cargo haulers." Her voice was melodic, with harmonics that seemed to vibrate in his chest. "The ones they call reliable?" "Depends who's asking," Emma said, her hand casually moving toward the plasma pistol at her hip. She'd always been the cautious one that the alien woman smiled, revealing teeth that were just slightly too sharp. "My name is ZYXTHRA. I require transport to the Andromeda Gate. Discreetly. I can pay triple the standard rate." Jason's brain struggled to process the offer. Triple rate would clear their debts, and then some. But jobs that paid that well usually came with complications that could get you killed, or worse. "What's the cargo?" Emma asked, her eyes narrowed. "Myself," ZYXTHRA replied simply. Over the next 3 days aboard their ship, the Wandering Star, Jason learned that ZYXTHRA was excellent company. She was fascinated by human culture, asking endless questions about Earth's history, music, and the peculiar human obsession with coffee. Emma warmed to her gradually, and the two spent hours in the engine room, where ZYXTHRA demonstrated propulsion theories that made Emma's eyes light up like a child on Christmas morning. But Jason couldn't shake the feeling they were missing something. The way ZYXTHRA moved through the ship with practiced grace, the deference in her voice when she spoke of her homeworld, the incredibly advanced tech woven into her clothing. It all pointed to someone far more important than a simple passenger. The truth revealed itself when they were intercepted by a Zaltor battlecruiser halfway to the gate. "This is Warlord Kresh of the Zaltor Dominion," a guttural voice crackled over the comm. "You are harboring a fugitive of the highest order. Surrender Queen ZYXTHRA immediately, or be destroyed." "Queen." The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Emma's face went pale. Jason's hands froze on the controls to ZYXTHRA. "No." Queen ZYXTHRA stepped onto the bridge, and suddenly everything about her made sense. The way she carried herself, the unconscious authority in every gesture, the burden of responsibility she couldn't quite hide behind her friendly demeanor. "I apologize for the deception," she said quietly. "My people are in the midst of a civil war. I fled to gather allies, to find help. The Zaltor sided with the usurpers who murdered my family and seized my throne." "You could have told us," Emma said, her voice tight with barely controlled anger. "We deserve to know what we were getting into." "Would you have helped if you knew?" ZYXTHRA asked. "Humans have a saying, I believe, no good deed goes unpunished." Jason looked at Emma. 3 years they'd been flying together, and he could read her like a star chart. She was scared, angry, but underneath it all, there was something else. That stubborn Mars colony pride that refused to back down from a fight. "How many ships?" Jason asked. "Just the one," ZYXTHRA said. "For now, but more will come." Emma laughed, a slightly unhinged sound. "We're idiots. You know that, right?" She looked at Jason. "Complete idiots." "Yeah," Jason agreed, already plotting a course. "But we're humanity's idiots." What happened next would become legend in the outer colonies. 2 humans and an exiled queen against a Zaltor battlecruiser. Emma jury-rigged the quantum drive to create a localized gravity well that threw off the battlecruiser's targeting systems. Jason pulled maneuvers that should have torn the wandering star apart, threading through an asteroid field at speeds that made even Xthera's bioluminescent patterns flash in alarm. They made it to the Andromeda Gate with hull breaches on 3 decks and the engines on fire, but they made it to Xthera prepared to disembark, surrounded by the royal guard who'd been waiting for her. She turned to face her unlikely saviors. "I will not forget what you've done," she said formally. Then, with a flash of the warmth they'd come to know, she added, "And when I retake my throne, humanity will have an ally in the Xthera dynasty. We take care of our friends." Emma grinned. "Just make sure that triple rate clears before the guild comes looking for us." Later, as they watched the royal ship disappear into the quantum foam, Jason finally asked the question that had been bothering him. "Did you know about her being a queen?" Emma shrugged. "Had my suspicions. Nobody moves like that unless they've worn a crown." She paused. "But mostly, she reminded me of us. Someone just trying to survive, trying to do the right thing in a galaxy that doesn't make it easy." Jason nodded. That was humanity in a nutshell, he supposed. Too stubborn to quit, too stupid to know when they were outmatched, and just crazy enough to help a queen reclaim her throne because it was the right thing to do. "So," Emma said, pulling up the NAV charts, "where to next?" Jason smiled. "Anywhere but here." And the wandering star flew on, carrying 2 humans who'd just changed the course of galactic history without even realizing it, because that's what humans did best.